All right, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Real Talk. I pray you are doing well and having a wonderful, blessed day as we thank the Most High Yah for so much. This title just says Theology. Um, this is a video response back to you, Reverend King. You know who you are. Big shout out to you. Great email, Reverend King 35. You want to know my little take on theology, and I have no problem with responding back with this video. And great question, dynamic question. And then you also asked me, do I have a problem with ministers that go to seminary school? And I always tell people off top, I have no problem with education. Learn all you can while you can. But to rightly divide what I'm saying, there are a lot of people that go to seminary school and they may ace the course, make straight A's in seminary school, but flunking in the Holy Spirit. And I'm not talking about everybody. Some people are crazy about having titles in front of their name. Some are not. But I never knock the next man or the next woman's education. You do what you got to do. But I always have to tell people, even if you don't go to seminary school, should never stop you from learning the Most High's word. Paul told Timothy to study to show yourself approved. Most High also said he will put the word in your heart. So it's up to us also to study on our own. Problem nowadays is so many people wait on the preachers to do everything for them. But you have to really study on your own just so you'll know if the preacher is even telling the truth or lying to you. Some people are putting more on the pastor, and some don't wait on the Wednesday night Bible study or whatever night you may have Bible study, you know, to get into the word of the Most High. Now, I want to say that off top because every time I address seminary school, some of the ones with all their degrees, they get so timid and act all funny, don't even listen to the whole video, and they don't understand. I'm not knocking what they're doing. I'm just rightly dividing truth. There are many people that come out of seminary school, just like down here, we have Southern Baptists. And I noticed for years on top of years, most of the ministers that come out of Southern Baptists, they preach this a certain way. And they won't tackle so many topics of the Bible that really need to be said. And they have been taught to stay with a certain area of teaching. And if they hear anything else, they're going to pretty much tear it down. And that's the problem with seminary school when it's taught by man. Now, like I always say, if the Holy Spirit is in that school and everything they teaching is based on the word, then amen, congratulations. But I also know how they teach tradition of men. Now, and that's what you have to look at. Man's way or Yahweh. Are you teaching the gospel, the truth, or are you teaching tradition? You know. Now, theology, big brother. Let's just break this down right quick. Theology just pretty much means the study of God. It comes from two Greek words that's combined, and it just simply means the study of God. So we all should be studying the Most High. If you're talking about theology in that sense, because the reason why I'm saying it because you have so many different theologies that's out here, and you gotta be careful even with that, because even with all the theology that's out here, it's hard. Y'all hear me say this all the time. It's hard to explain the Most High, the Holy Spirit, and the way the Holy Spirit operates, because our mindset, we are not that powerful to be on the same level as the Almighty, as He told Moses, I am that I am. So even with all your studying, you just really have to study in the Holy Spirit, and get the truth. Words can never be enough to explain the Holy Spirit. Just my opinion. Now that's my opinion. But I believe with the right, proper biblical theology, it's an awesome thing. But with poor theology, it has so many people messed up. You know, and that's why I want to refer to that. so many people teach traditions of men, and so many people put more emphasis on the commentaries than the word. Now, I don't have no problem with commentaries, as long as the commentaries line up with the true teaching of Yah's word. I don't have no problem with the commentary. But then there are some commentaries that's just opinions, you know. And we shouldn't be preaching opinions. We should be preaching the truth. We all can sit up and give opinions, and that's the problem with most people. They when they hear truth, they got a problem with it because they done been taught tradition and opinions, from man. But it's nothing wrong with proper biblical theology. Just like I was saying about school. But most folks I know, including myself, didn't go to school. And those are I'm not going to say all of them, but I have a lot of haters. You got to understand that the majority of my haters are those ones that come out of seminary school and they got a problem with what I'm saying. And first thing they want to know is, well, where did you graduate at? Where your degree at? All that. Just like they did Paul. Paul had this same problem. And then we was just to base everything on school, that'd knock a whole lot of people out of ministry. I always look at the disciples. Christ took, he took regular folk, and straightened them out, you know. Even though Paul was very well educated, but look at what Paul was doing at the time before he was changed over to Paul. He was Saul. Look at what he believed in. Look at the ignorance that he had, and he was taught about the one they say he's supposed to have been great, Gamaliel. So Paul was taught all that, but Paul had to go against all that because if you wasn't teaching the gospel, the good news, then what good was all that other stuff? That's why Paul said, I got to concentrate on what's in front of me and stop looking at what's behind me. Oh, I have a whole lot of accolades. I can brag if I want to. I speak more than one language, but I was ignorant. I was once a blasphemer. Paul recognized who he was when he was Saul. And then when he had that Damascus Road experience, he had, that's why the Bible say, why dost thou persecuted me? And he was blinded for what was it, 3 days, and then eat for 3 days, and the Holy Spirit had to show him where he was in error at, you know. So he knew what he did wrong. That's why he was forgave as a blasphemer, because he said, I once was a blasphemer, I did it out of ignorance. So when you look at even the lifestyle of Paul and what Paul done when he was Saul, he had to focus more on the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is a teacher. The Holy Spirit is the comforter. But we must understand if we don't pick up the book for ourselves, then you could easily be deceived and misled by so many different teachings out here. But once again, I don't have no problem with theology when it's done, just like the way I'm saying in this video. But to study theology, that is getting to know the Most High. But like I say, but you also have what we call poor theology out here, which is taught and is misleading so many people. But then, like I was saying, you at the beginning of this video, you got so many different types of theology. If you ever study theology, you'll see so many different names of theology. Just to name a few, you got what they call systematic theology, which is something being put pretty much into the system and breaking down in different areas, in various areas. You got one called contemporary theology. So, that's the study of theology and theological trends from, you can say, from World War One, all the way up to the present. So, them are your different types of and it's more than that. And that theology right there is covering the 20th century all the way up to today. And then you got what they call Old Testament theology, New Testament theology, historical theology, etc., etc. So I pretty much studied all of them, and it's kind of like this is why you have so many different teachings on the rapture, which is another confusing teaching and one of the most debatable topics there is about the Bible, because you got people that teach pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib. We got Christ coming back so many times now, people are confused. So you got to be very careful with all this stuff you're studying. But just pray, as I always say, in the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit will lead you into the truth. So that's my time. If you can and will, it's about 5:38 my time, Dallas, Texas, right now. But if you can and will, if you see this video, I sent out a notification. We're gonna deal with another live chat tonight, and our talk is gonna be about if there is another Jesus, if they come preaching to you another Jesus, and that'll be at 9:30 p.m. Dallas, Texas time. So that's my time, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you can, make it tonight. If you can't, I understand, and we're gonna deal with this because it needs to be said. Because I want so many people to understand on why there are so many people that continue to live a wicked lifestyle and think that Jesus have a problem. I mean, don't have a problem with it because they have the other Jesus. That's my time. Y'all take care, and y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed night. If you can, see you tonight. Shalom.